All right. Hey. So listen up. Everybody that has been asking, I've actually gotten this question probably, shoot, man, 20 times over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I truly believe that the reason I'm getting the question about affiliate marketing is because of all of the silliness that's going on with Facebook ads, the influx of the changing of the algorithms. People are looking for a different way to be able to market their product out and find other sources. Um, when I started back, holy cow, this has been now almost 5 years ago. When I started with Sunfrog, we took a company that was doing approximately about just under $10,000 a month in revenue selling t-shirts out to other Facebook groups and using Facebook pages to be able to actually sell those t-shirts. And over about 1.5 to 2 years, we were able to harness the power of affiliate marketing. And that this situation ended up being mostly through Facebook groups and through Facebook pages, Facebook advertising, but some of it was also through some of the other channels, such as your impression click and clicks to website, a lot of different components that happen inside of the affiliate marketplace. But we were able to take a company that was doing about $10,000 a month and grow that to $7 million. Now, I can promise you in a growth of that much and that magnitude in about 2 years, man, there were things that were falling off the bus. This bus is going down 60 miles an hour down the road and the wheels were falling off, and we're trying to put stuff back on. We're trying to fix things. Productions was an issue. Cash flow was an issue. I mean, like, there were so many different components. So that leads me into the challenges and a lot of things that people don't consider when they're looking at affiliate market, and some of the things that you do need to consider, especially when you're just about ready to take that leap and start harnessing the power of affiliate market to grow your business. The first thing is you need to know your company structure. In other words, when you're looking at that, do you have the capacity to be able to fulfill the amount of orders that could possibly happen because of affiliate marketing? So whether it's a product base, obviously if it's a service or an info, well, service obviously is even more limited, but an info-based product, there's really not a whole lot of limited capacity because it's an info type product. You can sell that. But when it boils down and it's a product base, you better make sure that you've got your resources available and the production available to be able to support that kind of thing. So let me explain why. Because when we started into the affiliate part within Sunfrog, one of the things that we weren't ready for was that first Christmas. And everybody knows in product-based stuff online, your fourth quarter is going to be your biggest time. The mistake that we made is we just didn't have enough printers. We didn't have enough ability to be able to produce at the rate at which we were selling. And it ended up that we got, honestly, about 30 days behind in printing out products, delivering products, and we had a lot of unhappy customers as well as unhappy affiliates. Because if the customer wants a refund, that means the affiliate has lost a sale, which means we can't pay out the affiliate, so on and so on. It just doesn't work. So it's really, really, really important. Now, we were able to handle that because we did a lot of clear communication to our customers. We said, look, this is something that's never happened before, which is the truth. We did a lot of different business structure type things in order to make sure that we worked through some of those challenges. But like I said at the beginning, when you're looking at using affiliates, you have to make sure that you are able to produce the product at the level of what you need to. Otherwise, you could run into challenges and then your whole affiliate program starts to fall apart and so on and so on. The second component of that, obviously production is number one. The second component is, can you afford to be able to do that? The challenge that happens so many times is we look at affiliate marketing, we say, well, we can give out X amount of percentage, but you don't know your numbers. You don't know what your production costs are. You don't know how much it really takes in time and effort to be able to service that customer, possibly customer service calls, returns. How are you going to handle those? Knowing exactly what your numbers are is going to make all of the difference between success and failure in using affiliate. So, for example, let's say that you're selling your product out on a one-on-one basis through your Facebook page, through Facebook advertising, whatever. Okay, great. You're getting a whole bunch of stuff in there. You're advertising it correctly. No false advertisements, nothing else like that. You're getting great stuff, great returns on it. Awesome. You have a little bit of a profit. Now you bring on a whole bunch of affiliates. They're not communicating the exact same way that you are, which is the third point, communication. They're not communicating the exact same way that you are. And so therefore now you're starting to see an increase in your returns, which then cuts right directly into your profits, which then causes you to actually go into a negative rather than a positive. Because if your company isn't being profitable at the end of the day, what's the point in selling stuff out there? And so many times we fall into the trap, especially using affiliates, that we think more is better. In reality, it's not. More can be more confusing. So unless you've got that standard operating procedure in place already, affiliates could totally be the worst thing that you could possibly put into your company. That leads then to this third part, which is communication. the standard operating procedures, what you can do, what you cannot do, what you should do, what you should not do, all of that has to be communicated directly to the affiliates. In other words, especially if you're using health products, if you're using any type of vitamins, what claims can they make about your product? What claims can they not make about your product? What are some delivery times? What are the expectations? All of those things that happen that you've kind of developed in your own system has to be communicated directly to the affiliate. So that way they're not misrepresenting your product. They're not making claims that you can't even fulfill on. And ultimately, if they do those two things, your returns are going to go through the roof. You're going to have so many challenges with that. You're going to have angry customers. It's going to basically ruin your brand. And then ultimately, you won't be able to pay the affiliates for them sending traffic to your site. All right. So number one is making sure that you understand your production. Number two is making sure that you understand your financials. And number three is making sure that you understand the communication, what I would call your standard operating procedures. And those three elements create the foundation to be able to go into what I'm going to talk about as far as how to get and what to look for as far as affiliates. So making sure that's important because that's your foundation, that's your structure. Without that, you will implode. And quite frankly, I've seen multiple companies, and I'm not going to name them, but I've seen multiple companies that started using this, grow really big, really fast, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they're like, gone, totally gone. So you got to be careful about that. You got to know your stuff. You got to know all those components. So let's jump into actually the different segments of affiliate marketing, because this is, I think, where it's going to answer a lot of questions. It's going to be able to help out those that are looking to take that leap. You've already done all the other work. You've already done all the foundational work. This is the next step. First segment, direct affiliates. Okay, so when you're looking at that, well, let me back up a little bit and say this too about the whole the pay structure and everything else. If you look at the affiliate channel as a marketing, what are you currently spending on your marketing? And every company is going to be different. I know some companies that I've consulted with, their marketing budget is 5% of gross revenue. I've talked with other companies that are around 30% of gross revenue. Some companies are at around 40 or 50% of gross revenue, which is huge, but they've got great margins. They're still able to make a profit. Again, that goes back to understanding your financials. All right. So what are you able to spend towards marketing? When you take that number and you understand what it is that you can spend towards marketing, that will give you a direct, I'll say a line, but it's a direct number or a specific percentage that you can pay out to affiliates. Again, knowing your numbers is absolutely critical, and we'll also talk about click-throughs and conversions rates here in a little bit. But you have to know what the dollar amount is going to be per sale that you can contribute to an affiliate for doing your marketing for you, because that's really what they are. Affiliates are actually, you're paying them as a subcontractor to do the marketing for you. Now, they may have obviously a huge area of influence. And this is what people sometimes refer to as influence marketing. That's another term for it. They may have a great referral. A lot of people trust them, so they can refer business back to you. Again, in its simple terms, that's affiliate marketing. So the way to be able to manage that is, number one, is you have them where you directly manage all of the clicks that come through. You directly manage all of the traffic that's being done. Everything is somehow cookied, so that way you know exactly what that person is directing to you. Now, there's a lot of challenges with that. Everything from, is it the last person that sends the people there? Is it a 30-day cookie, a 15-day cookie? Is it, and for those that don't know about cookies, basically what a cookie is the pixel. It's a little piece of code that goes onto somebody's computer, goes onto somebody's computer that tells me that Joe Schmo sent Sammy to my website. And if Sammy makes a purchase within the next 15 days, in other words, he came here once, comes back the next day and makes a purchase, I still attribute the traffic back to Joe because Sammy made the purchase off of the traffic that Joe sent. So that cookie can be different times. I've seen it as low as 10 days. I've seen it as high as 30 or 60 days. Some companies have even gone as far as 90 days to be able to place that cookie on everybody. The other question that has to be answered, especially when you're managing direct affiliates, is it the last person that sends direct traffic to you? And does that trump the 15-day cookie? Or is the first person that sends traffic who gets paid? Is it the last one in, or is it the first one in? And that was one of the bigger challenges we had, because there's a lot of different, I'll call them bots out there that claim that they've got coupons for a specific site. I'm not going to go into all the list of that, because you can go and search for quote unquote online coupons and they'll send people in direct traffic. They may or may not have that, but they cookie them because that's the last one in. And so one of the most common things, and again, I'm getting a little bit on a rabbit trail here, but this is one of the biggest challenges with managing your own affiliate traffic and your own direct affiliates, is that you will have a customer come to your website, and we watched this happen on Sunfrog. They will come to the website, they will go through the entire process, picking out the product, put it in their cart, blah, 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 and then they see the little coupon code up there. And then that page goes dormant. In other words, there's no activity whatsoever on it. It seems like that customer just literally ghosted and disappeared. And then all of a sudden they come back and they're cookied by somebody else. And they either have a code or they don't have a code. So Joe sent the traffic, Sammy, to our site. Sammy then goes out and he looks for a code. He finds something on some other .com site, and then all of a sudden comes back, and now that .com has now trumped the original traffic. So you have to be really careful about this and know which way it's going to work. Like, how long do you lock that cookie for? How long is it going to be good? Is it the last person in? Whatever you do, you have to be very transparent on this, and this is something that you have to consider when you're working with direct affiliates, okay? So the first thing is how do you manage those direct affiliates? What is the percentage of them that you're going to be able to pay out? And again, knowing the percentage is all based off of your financials. So when you're looking at managing, you have basically two options. You either build the system yourself, the back office system that is completely transparent, or you hire it out. You use the software. Cake, HitPath are two of probably the most common. Many other ones out there. But it's just a matter of being able to use them as a software, and it basically does a redirect, for lack of a better word. So the affiliate, if you use the software, the affiliate has I'll call it a mini code, short URL, whichever you want to call it, but it has a code that's actually attached through either Cake or HitPath. That's a blind. It goes through HitPath, then cookies it, pixels it, directs it directly to your website. When that purchase is made, HitPath or Cake or whatever keeps track of that, and then you've got your entire back office inside of that software. And again, like I said, the other option would be to build it yourself. Now, that building it yourself, most people don't have the capacity or the ability to be able to do that. It took us 9 months, a year, sometimes even a year and a half. We were still tweaking our tracking codes on that. We were still tweaking a lot of the different pieces of that. The key element in that, again, goes back to communication, making sure that the affiliate can trust you and can see all of their numbers clearly. If that is the case and they trust you, then again, sometimes you're going to make mistakes because that's the way code works, but they have the ability to be able to trust you because of the fact that you're being very clear and transparent about that, and then running towards problems rather than trying to ignore the problems. All right. So you have that. That's the first one, is the direct affiliates. Then when you have a direct affiliate, the question is, how do I actually acquire those things? Well, that honestly comes down to networking and what I call guerrilla marketing. And so what we did with Sunfrog was, when we were there, obviously it was selling t-shirts. We were able to create a great story, a great message that was consistent. Hey, you've got a web page or a Facebook page about dogs. Here's a great picture or a great design that's about dogs or whatever. And it relates directly to their audience. It connects with their audience. Here's a way to be able to make a couple, and the way we approached it was, here's a way to be able to make a couple $100 extra per month. Now, some of those ended up going on to make thousands and even hundreds of thousands. And I think there was a couple people that made $1 million off of selling t-shirts directly off of Sunfrog. Again, this has been several years now since I've been out of it, but the process and the structure is exactly the same. The guerrilla marketing is finding individuals that relate directly to your product. So when you're looking at it, again, remember, affiliates, nothing more than influence marketing, referral marketing, or what they classify as affiliate marketing. It's basically all of the same. You're finding someone who has trust in an industry, has a following. That following relates directly to there's a coordination or correlation between your product and what their audience is. And that message resonates with their audience. That's where you're going to find success. But you got to go find them. You got to find people that are going to have that kind of a message. You can find them either as the admins of Facebook groups. That's the way we used to do it. The Facebook pages, you can find admins of there. But now, more importantly, when you're starting looking for blogs, you're starting to look for people that have larger traffic, Instagram, Twitter followings, YouTube channels. I mean, like, there's all kinds of different ways to find these people, even into Twitch. I mean, like, there's some, if you're in a gamer niche, man, Twitch is like the best place as far as for all the gamer niches. And again, this is literally unlimited. Now, it's going to change, but knowing the structure that you're trying to find somebody that has a following, that has influence, that their audience trusts them, no matter what the platform is, Facebook, Instagram, it doesn't matter. That's what you're looking for. That's the core. And when you can find that, now you can bring them into your fold of direct marketing or your direct affiliates, okay? So those are a couple of things. That's the first segment, is direct affiliates. Second segment, And this is why it gets a little bit confusing, because you're looking at all of these different things, like how do I find them, what do I look for? But when you're looking at affiliates, there's really only about 3 specific ways. The second thing is by using a platform. Now, some of the most common platforms, again, depending on what circle you're in, there's one that is in the Affiliate Summit circle. Actually, there's about 5 or 6 of them in there. ClickBank is in that circle as well, but you've got ShareASale, Commission Junction, ClickBank. That's kind of in that circle. The other part of it is in regards to like the JVZoo, that's more of your info products. Obviously, ClickBank, that kind of dabbles between info products and products. And there's a whole, golly, these are just your platforms. Amazon, for a matter, that's a platform that you can use to be able to sell your product and gather other affiliates, because Amazon's got their affiliate. Now, Amazon's not nearly as controllable as what some of these others are, but that's one of the ways that you can do that. So when you're using a platform, here's the things to watch out for. Number one is, just use, I don't want to use any one because they're all the same, but basically the platform will have 100,000 plus affiliates already lined up in their stable. Not all affiliates are created equal. Some of them will have audience. Remember, going back to how we find the direct audience, some of them will have audiences that just frankly don't match or mesh with who you are. They don't mess with they don't have your right messaging. They don't even have the right target audience. They don't have your avatar. They don't have any of that stuff. That's why it's important to have that structure first. The next thing that you want to look at is, what do they like to, or how do they like to get paid? And this was one of the biggest challenges that we had to learn. If you don't know your conversion rates, how are you going to pay anybody to be able to get a click to your website? So some companies like to get paid per click. Some companies like to get paid per impression. Some companies are willing to get paid per conversion. So you've got basically 3. There's more than that, but let me just go through those 3. The first one is you pay per impression. And when you look at that, for example, man, there's a lot of really big companies out there that do this, is they say, hey, we've got 50,000 people that hit our website. We'll give you a banner ad and we'll have people see your banner ad on our website. That is an impression. And they want to be paid per impression. So they'll charge you $1,000 per whatever, 50,000 impressions or 100,000, whatever it ends up being. That's the first way. But if you're not getting a click through, what good is that payment? What good is it to be able to spend money on the impressions if you're not getting a click through? So you have to be really careful about that. The second thing then is obviously click through. Okay. So some people want to get paid per click. Some of the affiliates want to direct traffic, but they want to get paid every time somebody clicks. Now, the danger of that is that they can generate a lot of clicks because they can go and they can farm it out and they can get it from other people. So the clicks have to be good. So when you're looking at this part of it, knowing what your conversion rate is going to tell you whether or not you can pay for clicks. And then keeping an eye, are the clicks genuine? Are they part of your customer? Because if you're selling a product that's based off of millennials and they're getting clicks from grandmas, it doesn't work. And you have to be really careful about that when you're looking at paying somebody per click. But again, this is just one of those things that you have to keep an eye on. The last one, and this is what we went to as far as with Sunfrog, is we can't pay per impression. We couldn't pay per click because we found, quite frankly, that there was a lot of foreigners that were sending traffic over that it just didn't match. Like, we were getting people from Brazil and Vietnam and all over the place. So we ended up refining it all the way down and said, we will only pay per conversion. So that meant that any affiliate that directed traffic to us, the only time that they got paid was when there was a sale. And then we looked at our numbers and said, okay, what is the best amount, the most amount that we could pay out based off on our marketing? Now, in our situation, the way we did the numbers, we were able at that time to pay higher than anybody else out there. So give you an example is Fanatics, which is a huge, huge sports industry. They pay, I think they were on ShareASale setting around a 5%, maybe a 10% of a conversion. When we jumped on to ShareASale as Sunfrog, we were able to pay out a 35% conversion, or 35% of the sale, which was the highest that had ever happened on ShareASale. That gave us plenty of room to be able to jump right up to the top. We ended up being, I think, in the top 500 within a couple of months, but it was because we were disruptive. We were able to give out something that nobody else could give out. And that's the reason why we were able to jump up. Plus, the messaging was clear. Plus, it connected with the company. It told a great, it connected with the affiliate's audience, told a great story, and it was an emotional, moving story. So all of those things coming together gave us the ability to be able to disrupt in that industry. So you want to look for those things. So let me just kind of define this again. If you're going to use a platform, number one, understand exactly how you're going to pay for the traffic that's coming, whether it's impressions, clicks to website, or conversions. Okay. Number two, make sure that you're keeping track, you're accounting for all of those things. Because even at conversion rates, we had people that try to sneak in fraudulent type sales. They would steal credit cards. That stuff happens. You have to watch for that. And there's other ways to track that and so on. But you probably don't have to worry about that on a smaller level. It's when you get a little bit larger. So that's, again, first one is the direct affiliates. Second one is using the platform. And then the third one is, let me just go back to my notes so I can remember exactly what we were talking about here. Oh, the marketplace platforms. Okay. So again, this is more of what we were talking about at the very beginning, or I was adding in Amazon. Amazon is truly more of a marketplace platform. They have tons and tons and tons of organic traffic. So what you're doing is you're taking your product that would normally be on your website and placing it on Amazon. Now, Amazon generates all of their own traffic. You get paid a small percentage for the sale, or the percentage, whatever you end up setting. I'm sorry, no. You get paid for the product, and you pay Amazon a set percentage for the traffic that they're driving to your product. Now, the trick is, or the challenge is, and this is what happens with Amazon, and there's all kinds of workarounds, but the core of it is if you have Amazon and you're using another marketplace platform, you as a company technically don't own the customer. In other words, you're not collecting the email address. You can only, again, technically work through their communication channels. And then if there's any kind of returns, Amazon is going to honor that return, and they're going to come back and say to you, hey, look, you've got to return it to the customer because this is our policy. Walmart's another one. There's eBay's another marketing platform kind of a thing. Again, all of these different things you can look at. So technically, Amazon becomes the affiliate. And you pay Amazon for the traffic that they're driving, but Amazon owns the customer. And that's one of the biggest challenges that you're going to work with. So looking at all of these things with your products, those are the three basic things. You've got your direct affiliates that you can manage yourself. That takes a lot of work, but you can do it. You can have a company manage the affiliates, or you can actually use a marketplace platform such as Amazon. And those are your three options as far as marketing. Again, you still have to know your customer. You have to know your avatar. You have to know what works. You have to know what kind of message has to be clear. So hopefully all of that, again, I've talked a lot about this. Typically, there's a lot of Q&A about this because everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. So in the comments below, we'll hold that discussion. Any questions you have, please let me know. I'll try to make sure that I get responses. I hope truly that this is going to be beneficial for you guys. But again, it's way, way, way deeper than what I just gave. I just want to try to give you an overview so that way you understood exactly what was going on, how this kind of works together. And I look forward to talking to you in the comments. We'll see you.